So I thought it would be good to add a few more streams. So I thought that would be pretty good. We're going to be reading Matthew chapter 8 today. And then if anybody, as usual, wants, ask questions, have conversations, all that's completely open. So we can do that as we read and so on. So feel free to chime in. But I think we can get right into it. All right, we're going to be continuing off from, I think, about a week and a half ago. Yeah, almost 2 weeks now. Matthew chapter 8. When he came down from the mountain, great crowds followed him. And behold, a leper came to him and knelt before him, saying, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said to him, See that you say nothing to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded, for a proof to them. The faith of a centurion. When he had entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward to him, appealing to him, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly. And he said to him, I'll come and heal him. But the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he marveled and said to those who followed him, Truly I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. I tell you, many will come from east and west and recline at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And to the centurion Jesus said, Go, let it be done for you, as you have believed. And the servant was healed at that very moment. I find that one really interesting and really crazy. Him mentioning that he had such great faith. Like, imagine saying to, you know what I mean, and just say the word, and I know it'll be done. Having that level of faith in Jesus is crazy. But it's also one of those things that's a little bit worrying. At the end of this, mentioning, let's see, many will come from the east and the west and recline at the table of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Mentioning the Gospels going to the Jew first and then to the Gentile. While the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into the outer darkness. It's mentioning there will be many of the Jewish who are saved, but there are also going to be many Gentiles all around. And then, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people from both who are not. But it really emphasizes that level of faith, which is really tough to have, honestly, at times. It really is. Jesus heals many. And when Jesus entered Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying sick with a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she rose and began to serve him. That evening they brought him to many who were oppressed by demons, and he cast out the spirits with a word and healed all who were sick. This was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. He took our illnesses and bore our diseases. Now when Jesus saw a crowd around him, he gave orders to go over to the other side. And a scribe came up to him and said to him, Teacher, I'll follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, Foxes have holes, and birds of... Another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, Follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead. And when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great storm of the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But he was asleep. And they went and woke him, saying, Save us, Lord, we are perishing. And he said to them, Why are you afraid, O ye of little faith? Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, What sort of man is this, that even the winds and sea obey him? And when he came to the other side, to the country of the Gadarenes, forgive me, 2 demon-possessed men met him, coming out of the tombs, so fierce that no one could pass that way. And behold, they cried out, What have you done with us, O Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time? Now a herd of many pigs was feeding at some distance from them, and the demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out, send us away into the herd of pigs." And he said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and behold, the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the waters. The herdsmen fled, and going into the city they told everything, especially what had happened to the demon-possessed man. And behold, all the city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they begged him to leave their region. That was a quick one, man. I'm telling you. They're lengthy, but you really kind of get into a lot of these stories. It goes by fast. There's so much to glean off of these, but there's a lot of these that are a bit more difficult to kind of look into the context of as well, I would say. Well, for Matthew 8, I think 7's a bit easier to glean a lot off of. But there's certain ones, Faith of Centurion it's got a lot of deep meaning too. It's not too bad, cleanses a leper, and a lot of the foreshadowing's pretty good. Heals many. But this one I always find kind of strange. And I kind of want to do some more, research into it. I've heard many talks, honestly, about this one, about it. So I know vaguely, some of the reasonings for a lot of these things. Have you guys ever, hey, I have a certain opinion about something, but it's something you heard somebody else discuss, you don't fully remember, you know what I mean, like the context and the arguments and so on. It's kind of like that, honestly. I've heard this passage talked about several times, but it's not one I've delved into a ton. And when he came to the other side of the country, Gadarenes, 2 demon-possessed men had met him coming out of the tombs. And it actually mentions, the demons speaking to Jesus. And what I find interesting here, what have you to do with us, O Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time? I wonder, and I believe that's referring to the day of the Lord, which is mentioned all throughout the Old Testament. What we believe to be, the end of Revelations, when God actually comes down to, when he comes to judge the earth. And here they beg for him to cast them out, to send them into the herd of pigs. So I do wonder what the thought was on that. I might go do some more research, honestly. Watch a few videos on that. I'm really curious. I might actually do some more separate readings on this. And if you guys are interested too, definitely let me know what you think. I might actually post this in our Discord. But yeah, that was a really good one. I think I get a lot more out of Matthew 7, what we read last week, or the week and a half ago. There's just so much in that section, but still a pretty good amount here as well. But yeah, that's going to be it for that. As I mentioned before, I have been feeling convicted about it, but there's a season for everything, right? And I know I've been struggling in certain areas and doing really good in others. It's really tough, honestly, when you're struggling in certain areas, if you have a perfectionist attitude, or if you want to feel like you're not being a hypocrite, on the ball, doing super good 100% of the time, all the time, so it's really hard not to have that expectation, especially after following God. But that's definitely something I struggle with, quite a bit. So I don't know if any of you guys relate to that too, but it's something that I know we need to not feel condemned about. But as the Holy Spirit convicts us, we do need to work towards, pray God to help us towards. And I think the answer with what I'm struggling with all of this, is just to seek God more. Instead of focusing on, doing less per se, of all the stuff, I'm doing that are distractions. Instead of a less, more of a more mindset, Makes me think of, this may seem a little random, but I promise it's related. It makes me think of people who are like trying to quit smoking, for example. They don't recommend them try to not smoke per se. What they do is they say, replace it with something else. Get a different, healthier habit to fill the void. That's impossible. That's self-defeating. My brain's not thinking of the right, not the right word for it. Um, Self-contradictory statement. Don't think of an elephant. That's all you can think of. So, but yeah, that's what's going on with me. So I'm gonna be trying to maybe do some of these readings. I don't want to say daily, but I think it'll be good. Something I could try to do maybe in the mornings, or just kind of throughout the days. We'll see. We'll see how we do it. But I want to do these more often, though. I think it'd be good to just get these general readings going out. Us and all that good stuff, just whenever you're free or as you can. But either way, I really appreciate you guys in general, all the feedback and stuff, everything we're getting at Discord's been really fun, really good conversations. So I definitely appreciate it. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless. Peace.